Holy shit. Okay, my phone, of course, has something. Okay, there we go. Holy crap, guys. So I just finished watching the season... Well, I finished watching it like a while ago, but the season finale of The Mandalorian. And that was, without a doubt, the best episode in the show's history. And not because of the ending. Like, even prior to the big reveal at the end, it was still the best episode, in my opinion. Extremely well directed. Unlike the fucking episode where Boba Fett was brought back. That episode was not well directed, I don't hear you guys say. This episode was so well made. The action was the best in the series, like, easily. And yeah, that was an incredible episode. I literally had zero issues with it. The pacing was great. You know, the writing, like the way they went about telling the episode was great in my opinion. I had literally no issues with that. That is a flawless 10 out of 10 episode for me. And I have not felt that way about any of the episodes of this entire show. There's obviously been episodes I've really liked, but this is the first 10 out of 10 episode for me. Like, that was fucking insane. So, first of all, I mean, heading into this episode, I was really hoping to see a Mando, Din Djarin versus Moff Gideon fight, and we got that. I was hoping to see, the Darksaber up against the Beskar Spear. We got that. And it was badass. It wasn't as long as I was hoping it to be, but it was still really cool nonetheless. Having those two fight. And yeah, I mean, there's just so much to talk about this episode. Obviously, the ending where Luke shows up, which I honestly wasn't expecting, because there has been so many theories about people just, who's the Jedi that's gotten contacted. I was thinking and hoping it would be Cal Kestis from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I thought that would be kind of cool because it's a character that not everyone's aware of, but I just thought it would be nice. And they went for Luke. They literally went for Luke, which I know a lot of people were theorizing, but I wasn't fully expecting that just because I didn't know how they would handle it. It's a TV show, so I didn't really think they'd have the budget to make Luke look great. They're obviously, and I just didn't really want them to get another actor to portray Luke. Like, I know a lot of people think Sebastian Stan looks the part, which he does, but they ended up pretty much deep-faking Luke, and he didn't look that great. Like, it's a TV show. The voice wasn't really spot on, in my opinion. There's just a few lines where it sounded off, and the lip movements were not really well synced, so it didn't look the greatest, but just the idea of it was awesome. And I mean, seeing Luke slice through all those dark troopers was awesome. Like, that was just phenomenal to watch, because that literally gave me the one of the aspects that I was disappointed by in the sequel trilogy. It's not a huge thing, it's more of a nitpick, but I kind of hate how the sequel trilogy always used blue lightsabers and red lightsabers. We never got to see green lightsabers in action, in an actual fight sequence, besides, like, Leia and Luke's training. So seeing Luke with his green lightsaber just taking, down a horde of sentry droids, or of dark troopers, was like a dream come true for me. Like, just seeing the green lightsaber back in action was great. I've wanted to see that for so long. I'll be honest, this is the best thing Disney has produced Star Wars-wise, for me personally. I don't hate the sequel trilogy like some people do. I love The Force Awakens, and then The Lost Jedi. I love certain aspects of it, and then the rest of the movie I think is really boring. And then Rise of Skywalker I don't like. This, for me, was easily better than Rise of Skywalker, for sure. And if you're just talking overall enjoyment, I enjoyed this the most out of anything Disney's produced. And it was a 30-minute episode. Not 30, it was like 42 or whatever, or 46, but when you take away credits. And there is an after-credits scene, in case you guys don't know. There is an after-credits scene. I'm going to talk about it in this video. So, basically, Boba Fett goes back to Tatooine. He kills Bib Fortuna, and he basically takes, Jabba's throne, if you want to call it that, in Jabba's palace. So, pretty cool after-credits scene, in my opinion. I wasn't expecting an after-credits scene. Like, I would have completely missed that if it wasn't for my friend to tell me. So I watched that. And then it said Book of Boba Fett coming December 2021 or something like that. So I don't know if it's an actual book or if it's like a show or something called The Book of Mandalorian. I imagine it's probably just going to be a book, but it's just the fact that it's like an entire year is kind of odd. Unless like they're just starting the book. I don't know. I'm not really into reading Star Wars novels and stuff, so I probably won't do that, but I don't know. Still. God, where do I start with this episode? Mando, he goes and he brings back, he gets Bo-Katan to help him. So we get Bo-Katan, Katie Sackhoff is back, and Sasha Banks' character, the other Mando that was with her. We don't get to see that one brute, the big guy Mando. We don't get to see him, but They join, and basically the deal is that they'll get the Darksaber from Mando, or from Gideon, and then they can rule Mandalore. And that was, like, there's a kind of a cool scene where Boba Fett fights Sasha Banks' character, and really cool seeing those two fight. Like, I really liked that. They were very equally matched, so that was nice. And then, yeah, then they basically head up into space. They have kind of a cool plan. I really liked the way they executed it. They basically had an Imperial shuttle, one of those white ones from Return of the Jedi, that they were going to fly, and Boba Fett would be chasing from behind them with the Slave One shooting at them, and then they would basically contact the Imperial ship, Gideon's ship, and basically say we're under attack and try to land on the ship. So pretty cool, like, entry. I really liked that. So Boba Fett wasn't in the episode that much, which I was okay with, because I've never been a huge fan of them using Boba Fett, but I like the way he's been used, especially in this episode. So yeah, they land, and then from there on out, it's basically just all action, but the episode was so well paced, right? It took its time. It wasn't, like, rushed, because I think some of the previous episodes have been kind of rushed. Not the last one or anything like that, but just the show, you know, because the episodes are shorter typically, I feel like sometimes things go by a little bit too fast. This episode I thought was perfectly paced. The action was great. It was really cool. You know, it was kind of just the classic, you know, stormtroopers just being gunned down in the hallways. But when those dark troopers entered, it was badass. Like, the dark troopers are they were slow, but they are so overpowered and badass. Like, they're taking on Mando, one of them is, and it's just constantly punching him in the helmet. And I thought that was great. That's the thing I love about Mando and, like, Din Djarin as a character, is that he's really badass, but he takes hits, right? He's not just this unstoppable force. He gets his butt kicked a lot of the time, and that was one example when it was just punching the shit out of his face. He uses his flamethrower on it, and then he kills it with the Beskar spear in a really awesome kill where he basically stabs it, like, here, kind of, and then it rips the head off. He also uses his spear to, like, break a stormtrooper's neck, which was really awesome. Like, I like how this got kind of more violent. It got a little bit, like, more dark with its action, so phenomenal stuff. And then, obviously, the highlight of the episode, everything people are going to be talking about is Luke's entrance. You see the X-Wing, you know, fly in and land on the ship. You see, like, security cam footage of, like, Luke, kind of, like, he's got his robe on, so you can't see his face, but you see him kind of walking through the hallway, slicing up droids, and then you see the green lightsaber, and yeah, Luke's there. And, excuse me, that was pretty awesome to see. Obviously, like I said, he didn't look the best when he takes his hood off, like, especially the lip movements. It didn't look very good, and it didn't really sound spot on in my opinion, but I can get past that, you know, it's like the idea of it, and for being a TV show, I thought it was well executed. But no, that was all phenomenal, because my prediction, honestly, was I was kind of thinking they would go with Ezra, just because, you know, they mentioned how Thrawn survived, and since Ezra and Thrawn were in the exact same room when everything went down in Rebels, I was kind of figuring that Ezra would be the one to show up here. I was hoping it'd be Cal Kestis, and they went with Luke, which, obviously, I mean, they went with, like, the biggest character they could. And going into this season, I said that I was worried, I didn't say this in a video, but I was worried about all the characters they were announcing, because they had announced Ahsoka, you know, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett returning, and I was like, that's just a lot of really big characters. And one of the things I liked about the first season of the show was it's smaller, more compact. Like, you know, like, it was cool because we got to see a lot of new, fresh planets, and there wasn't a ton of returning characters, so it just made Star Wars feel like a larger universe. As soon as you throw in a bunch of returning characters, things get kind of smaller feeling. It's just like, oh, it's always the same people. And that was why I hate, you know, things like Palpatine being back. But honestly, I think this show executed it well. I never was really bothered by any of the returning characters. I didn't love the episode that Boba Fett was brought back in, which I know is a lot of people's favorite episode of this season so far. This one's going to easily top it, but I wasn't a fan of that episode, the tragedy, just because I didn't like the direction, the directing style. I didn't like the lighting and the slow-mo and stuff in the action. It just didn't feel like Star Wars to me. And that's a very specific thing to talk about, but that was just my issues with that episode. Otherwise, I liked it, but it was just the way it was directed. This episode, though, directed phenomenally, and I had really no issues. One thing that I thought was interesting at first, and I actually kind of digged it, was the music for the Dark Troopers. They used dubstep, and I didn't know how I felt at first, because the Dark Troopers power up, and it starts playing that music, and at first I thought it was maybe just the sound of them powering up, and then I was like, no, that's definitely dubstep music, and it's interesting. Like, I didn't hate it and I didn't love it either. I was just kind of like, that's an interesting choice. It kind of fit for them and they didn't overuse it, so it wasn't really that big of an issue or anything. And then other things. Okay, so Grogu and Mando obviously reunite. There's a short moment where I actually thought that Gideon was gonna let Mando go because he realized, Gideon says, I'll let you take the kid. I have what I need from him. I have his blood. I only need his blood because I need to restore, basically confirming what I kind of predicted in season 1, which was that, they're using Grogu's blood to basically bring back the Emperor. Or create Snoke. It's one of the two, but I think it's probably bringing back the Emperor. And so you think there's a moment where I actually thought to myself, like, okay, maybe Gideon will actually let Mando go. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, no, they gotta have a fight. So Gideon turns on him, starts attacking the crap out of Mando. Obviously, his Beskar armor deflects it and stuff, but then he takes out the spear. They have a pretty badass fight. It wasn't super long. It's not like Captain Phasma versus Finn short, but it wasn't a long fight either. It was pretty quick. Probably lasted about a minute, but it was a badass fight. The choreography was great. It looked awesome. Like, Mando gets to use, like, his little what do you call it, like, wire thing that kind of wrapped around Gideon and he sliced it. So awesome action. And then Mando wins. Gideon is in handcuffs. They go to Bo-Katan, and Bo-Katan is looking at Mando, and it was kind of like, what's going on here? And then obviously, Gideon reveals that, Mando, since he has the spear, since he won it in a fight, technically, the only way to actually get the spear and to be the true owner of it is to actually win it in battle. So the idea is, like, Bo-Katan's basically, is she gonna have to fight Mando now? And I was like, oh, I like this, because it kind of felt like that was Gideon's plan. And then hilarious Jack. And then obviously not how it goes down, because Luke shows up, or all the Dark Troopers show up first, and then Luke shows up. So yeah, phenomenal episode. A 10 for me. I will make my review of the second season. I'll be up later today because it's 3:21 a.m. for me, and I'm gonna go to bed soon. But I'm gonna record my review, upload it later today in the afternoon or something like that. And yeah, I definitely liked season 2 more than season 1, because I liked season 1, but I did honestly consider it kind of overrated in the overall grand scheme of Star Wars. Like, a lot of people were saying it was the best thing to ever happen to Star Wars since Revenge of the Sith or whatever, and I wasn't in that boat. I kind of felt like it was a bit overrated, and I thought, like, there wasn't much of a story to it, and there's too many side missions and that kind of stuff. But this season was so much better in my opinion. First of all, like, the production value was so much better. The effects looked great. The new planets and stuff were visually incredible. Like, this season had better planets than anything in the sequels, and honestly better action than, like, I mean, the sequels had some good action. I liked the throne room fight, which I know people say the choreography is bad if you slow it down and look at certain characters, but I still think the throne room fight is great. But yeah, this had better action than Rise of Skywalker, I would say. And yeah, this was crazy. This was awesome. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for me this episode. The overall season, you'll have to wait till tomorrow to hear, or later today, to hear my full thoughts and my rating, because I'm not going to be doing a live stream for that. I'll be doing an actual video. There'll be spoilers, obviously. I can't really talk about this season without going into spoilers. And yeah. Taylor, while you're here, really quickly, the newest Mandalorian episode is probably the best thing to happen to Star Wars in years, in my opinion. Is such a badass episode, and Luke's in it. And Luke slices through a bunch of droids. That was an awesome episode. But yeah, I don't have too much to say. Like, awesome action. The ending of the episode I thought was really good too, where Grogu joins Luke and Mando takes off his helmet and says bye to him. That was really good. Better than Solo. Yeah, Solo was not my favorite Star Wars thing in the last few years. Force Awakens was my favorite, and then Solo, and then The Last Jedi, and then Rogue One, and then Rise of Skywalker would be my ranking from best to worst out of the Disney content. And then this episode, I enjoyed more than most of those things. Like, this was so great. Man, oh man. That was awesome. So yeah, now season's over and we have to wait till December 2021. Boba Fett did not die. Boba Fett, He goes to Tatooine and he takes back Jabba's palace. He kills... Oh, the actor. Okay, yeah. I was confused on what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering if they'd put something in this episode for that, but I didn't notice anything. I think because... Well, he died yesterday, I think? But no, there wasn't anything for that. I thought maybe they'd put something at the end. Yeah. Man, oh man, that was awesome. Yeah, like, Luke... It literally gave me, like, two things that the sequel trilogy never gave me that I always wanted, was seeing a green lightsaber in action, and... Because the only time we get to see a green lightsaber in the sequels is the flashback scenes with Kylo and Luke, and when Luke is training with Leia. That's it. Like, seeing it in, like, full-on action was great. And there's one other aspect he gave me that I don't remember what it was, but there was something that I wanted to see that we got. Let me flip my camera. Like... This is gonna get blocked. I should, like, mute this. This video will get probably taken down. But yeah, no, like, the action was great in this episode. I like when Luke crushes this one droid. That was great. The deep fake for Luke did not look the best. Like, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't... No, the quality just dropped on Disney Plus. Okay, there we go. Now it's back up. Like, it's not terrible, but there's just something off about it. Trying to think what else. Yeah, no. I don't really have much else to say. I've kind of said everything I wanted to. The episode was great. I loved it. Review for the rest of the series, for the entire season, coming later tomorrow. Moff Gideon finally got some really badass moments, because he's kind of just been off to the side for the entire series, so he was great here. Alright, bye, Taylor. Yeah, man, oh man. And the fight was pretty sick between the two of them. Yeah, okay, well. Oh my god. Alright, guys, I'm gonna go to bed now. Thank you for watching this. It wasn't really anything special, but tomorrow I will have my review up, so bye.